Hi everybody, this is Shane R. Monroe, and I just got my hands on the pre-release of Corel's Paint Shop Pro 2021 Ultimate, and one of the biggest selling points of this was some artificial intelligence stuff brought in for denoising, doing some upscaling, as well as doing some sort of photographical special effects. So I thought I would take a look. I know some of you guys really get in on this stuff, and you guys like to see Corel Paint Shop Pro. So I have a handful of photos here that I have picked out of my bric-a-brac collection of snapshots, scans, photos, illustrations. Some of them date back to 1997. Some of them are just bad pictures. So I thought we would take a look at exactly what we could and could not do with this new tool. So I'm in the photography workflow here. So for those of you who may never have seen this, if you look under Workspace, I'm under Photography's Workspace. Essentials are complete are probably what you used to use or you're used to using. This was sort of new to me too, but it's really a lot easier to illustrate how this works. Now this is my dad, and this photo is currently about, let me see. It is 1152 by 864. That's the current size. So it's not super small, but we've definitely got some nasty noise here coming from that digital camera, right? So we have a handful of tools down here. We have an instant effects palette, which we're probably not going to spend a lot of time on. I'll dink with it a little bit just so you guys can see it. But honestly, I don't personally have a need for these sort of artistic effects. Even though they're powered by AI, it's just not my thing. The other thing is one-step JPEG removal. And JPEG type stuff would be the extra compression you see around edges. Most of my shots don't have a whole lot of that. So we won't be playing a lot with that one, but we will be looking at denoise, and we'll be looking at upsampling, which is enlarging your images using AI. Does it preserve the image? Does it improve the quality of the image on the upscale? Well, let's just take a look. I've got several photos here to look at. So this one could probably immediately deal with a little bit of noise removal, right? So we're going to click the button, and there's a little progress bar. It's hard to see because the screen is dimmed, but it's going through and trying to denoise it. All right, so on the left-hand side, we have the original, and then after, and you can see if I go over here, and you can see it denoised pretty well. I mean, take a look at his face. It's softened a lot, of course, but the noise is definitely gone. Take a look down here. Look at his legs as I pass over. Softened up. It's pretty decent. Maybe a little too soft in the denoise. Now there's obviously there's no settings in here, so you can't say just denoise a little bit. But you can do some things with the upscaling. So let me undo that. Ooh, went right back to the way it was. Let me do the AI upsampling. So I'm only going to increase it to 101%. Only because I want to use the noise reduction as part of the upscale. Let's go to 200%. I don't think that'll be too crazy. All right, and again, you'll see that the progress bar is moving a bit slower now. I am on a mid-generation i7 using an RTX 1060, and I am using GPU acceleration. But if for those of you who are interested in that sort of thing, you can see that I'm not using a whole lot of GPU here. Where to go? Yeah, we'll look at that again. So now let's take another look. Okay, so we've zoomed up, and we've let it do some denoising. Now, hey, look at that. So we got rid of, well, there's still quite a bit on his leg, but if you look up at his face area, there's definitely some smoothing going on, but it's not so smooth that it starts to distort the picture. Now, obviously, see there's still a bunch of noise down here, but hey, listen, that's not too bad. And that's blown up 200%. So what if we ran denoise, the full-blown AI denoise over the top? what would we see? Would it be different? Would it look better? I found in prepping for this video that a lot of combinations of these settings, when you upscale and then denoise afterwards, sometimes you can see a better effect than if you denoise something smaller, and vice versa. Sometimes the picture's too big. All right, so you see, look at the denoising now. It didn't help a whole lot, right? Because we'd already upsampled it. You can see the denoising up here. Can I grab? Oh, I can grab the bar from the middle. You can see the denoising up there. That's pretty good. And his face, see, that's kind of nice. His face didn't get super washed out with the additional denoising. Unfortunately, we didn't get a whole lot of denoising going on down here either. And then it cleared a little bit of the noise out. Hey, that's not bad. So I would say, from a don't want to lose the definition of his face while still denoising some stuff, we got a little more denoise out of there. I would say that's a win. I would say that we improved the photograph and we resized it, and it looks pretty good. All right. Let's take a look at the next photo. This is your typical early generation, I should say, either mobile phone or probably a point and shoot. So yeah, I'd say denoising is probably our first pass here. Let's see what just straight old denoising will do. Well, hey, that looks pretty good. I mean, it softened the face quite a bit, but if you didn't know what it looked like before, yeah, I mean, I would say that's definitely a win. So from a point of view of the size, again, it was in the 1152/864 range. So let's try this. Let's go ahead and try to resize it. Let's take it up 200 like we did with my dad, and we'll keep photorealistic and maximum, and let's see if we can gain just a little bit more with that resize this time. And again, while we're underway here, let's take a look at what's going on. My CPU, you can tell that Corel is chewing the CPU like crazy in memory. But let's be honest. I mean, I'm not seeing a whole lot of GPU usage here. So, all right. Well, let's see how we did. Yeah, I mean, again, maybe a little extra soft going on here. Maybe we could run it through a sharpener later, but that's not bad. I mean, that's, again, I would consider that I'd consider that a win. I mean, I would feel okay printing that, if you will. Let's go to the next picture. Okay, so this picture, good Lord. This is from my wedding, or my reception, I should say. And that is 450 by 301. If I remember right, this is from the Iomega Clik camera. And dudes, what are you going to do with this? I mean, is there anything we can do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this thing there's like no detail. It's tiny, right? So let's start with the denoise and see what it does with a single pass on the first pass on denoise. It completely wiped our faces out totally. Look at that. That's almost creepy. That's like out of a horror movie, right? The clock is all trashed. You know, there's like no pixels in here to do anything. Yeah, I guess that's not going to work out. Well, let's see if we can, let's get this a little bigger. Let's take it up 300 to 1350 by 900. That's a little something better to work with. And we'll go ahead and let it do its noise reduction as part of this. It certainly can't be any worse than by applying that denoise to it. So I have a feeling a lot of people are in this situation. Okay, let's see what we got here. Still see a lot. Most of my face is gone. But listen, there's not that many pixels there to begin with, to be honest with you. You know, let's try an experiment. Let's roll this back. Let's do this again, but let's take away the noise reduction on the boost. So let's boost it to... Now here's something that's a little irritating. You notice how I just instantly did it? You know that didn't work, right? Sometimes you have to go over here and click default and then change it again. Listen, it's pre-release. What do you want? Okay, no noise reduction, 300%. Oh, let me turn that GPU acceleration on. I must have shut it back off when I hit default. Still not a whole lot of GPU going on here. All right, let's see what we got here. Well, hey, wait a minute. That's not bad. I mean, look, there wasn't much on my face there to begin with, but look, my wife's face is a little clearer. My daughter's face down there is a little better. The clock is definitely better. The balloons are smoother. Now let's try to run some denoise on there. Maybe with a little bit of resolution, the denoise can help without making us look like animals, like creatures, something out of Silent Hill, right? Well, damn, that looks okay. Look at that. I mean, I would not have thought that picture had any salvageability, but I'm going to be honest with you, that looks pretty good. I mean, listen, it was a hard luck case to begin with, but wow. Okay. I mean, you could be made a believer by something like that, right? Wow. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay. So this is your typical, I took a snapshot and scanned it really, really high on a scanner, on a flatbed scanner. What do we do with this? Well, we're going to try to denoise it first and see if we get any love out of that. And well, it got rid of those scans, but it softened everything up like pretty bad. I mean, the facial pieces of her are kind of gone, a lot like what we had last time. So let's roll that back out. And what's our current size? I think this one's a little bigger. This is 760 by 480. Was it 489? Tiny ass print. Okay. Let's do the same thing we did before. Let's bring this up 300 and no noise reduction. And then we'll do the noise reduction over top of it. Okay, do we have... Well, look at that. If anything, maybe her facial features got a little unfuzzed. What do you think? All right, let's denoise that and see what happens. Again, it's bigger. It takes a while. Sorry for the delays, but it's probably nice that you get an opportunity to see what the actual runtime is instead of me going and monkeying with the speed of the video playback. Okay, so we did not succeed there. We still have a lot of these scan colors, so that didn't work out. So let's roll it back. So we're going to start with the denoise. That seemed to be our best bet. Let's just let this thing run again. So denoising is definitely better at this lower resolution, but maybe we denoise first and then we blow it up. Her face is still going to be softened, I think. What happened? We had a really nice denoise before. Let me just make sure we have everything undone here. Let's run the denoise again. Maybe it was still zoomed. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Either I'm a little bit buggy, or the interface is a little bit buggy. Yeah, so, okay, we softened it up. Let's go ahead and try that upscale now. 300. We're not going to do any noise reduction. You know, it's so annoying. Default. 300. GPU. And go. Hopefully that'll be fixed. Okay, so now we've made it bigger, and we've denoised it. So this might be something where if somebody who really wanted to fix this photo, maybe we would pull her head out of here and we would handle it different than the rest of the picture. We could go ahead and denoise everything around her. I'm not going to get into how to do that, but we could chop her off, put her in another picture, denoise the rest of the picture, and then put her back. There's a handful of things we could do. But we did get rid of that nasty scanner, I don't know what scanner noise, I guess that's the best thing you could call it, which is, I don't know if I'd call it a win, but it's in the right direction. This is a real picture. I did not doctor this ahead of time. This is an actual picture. Now, obviously the picture has initial brightness and contrast problems, right? So I went in earlier and I was messing with these settings, and listen, I am not a photographer, and people are going to be like, oh God, that's so gross. You don't know what you're doing. And the truth is I don't. But I do know that what's on the right looks better than what's on the left, right? So I messed with the contrast and the brightness a little bit, and I got something that I thought at least resembled a real picture. So we'll apply that. Now, what about our denoising? Let's try that first. Let's see how we do. Yeah, I mean, we over softened it a lot. If we undo, redo, undo. Again, we lost a lot of the picture, I think. Yeah. So let's not do that. Let's do this. Let's zoom it. Oh, it's really small. It's 550 by 550. So let's bring it up to 300%, and we're going to go ahead and do the noise reduction built in while it's upsampling, and let's see how that works out. You know, I'm no digital photography wizard. I'm just an enthusiast, an amateur. But I think that there's some photos that are just simply not savable, even with the right tools. Well, wait a minute. I'm not hating that. I mean, listen, it's better than that. But look, I mean, we didn't quite lose as much detail on his face. It didn't get too soft in the back. Her face is still a mess, but I mean, there wasn't much to work with to begin with. I don't know if I would call this a win or not, but I would say it's a step in the right direction. I mean, I couldn't have done better myself personally. So I'd say that's okay. Okay, then we got this photo. This is another one where I believe it was scanned, obviously, because it looks like it was scanned from a photograph. And it is currently sitting at, okay, so this one was, I scanned this rather large. So there's a lot of resolution already in here. The photo itself is not horrid. There's a lot of noise, right? So a lot of this is just darkness. There might be a path, a hallway over here or something. I mean, honestly, if I were really gonna work this photo and keep it, I would probably crop these two ladies out, get rid of the rest of the background. Well, here, let's do it. So to me, the value in this picture are the subjects, not everything else. So I would crop it, and then we would see what we could do. So it's really blurry. If I kept it at 100, okay, it's small. So we need to up it. But let's denoise it first. Let's see what we can get with the denoise before we try the upsample. And scroll it over. Okay. Well, again, we softened up a lot. Kind of took some of that red eye out too, though. I mean, I don't know if I would consider that better than it was before or not. Again, we're dealing with scratches and things like that. This isn't noise from a digital camera. So, but like the purse cleaned up nice. I mean, nobody really cares about that, but this would definitely require some more manual work. But just for the sake of argument, let's undo it. Let's do our trick from before, where we brought it up to say 300. We're going to maximize the noise. It's very annoying that I have to do that. But let's see what happens if we bring it up and Okay. Well, we have a little bit of softness going on, but the picture was originally kind of soft to begin with. We got rid of a lot of the noise, and we're bigger. Um, let's try to run the Denoise AI Denoise algorithm over it now and see what happens. I'm not expecting any miracles from this, but at least it gives you an idea sort of what you can and what your wins and what your wins aren't going to be with this software. Everyone hears AI and it's all magic, and they show you the videos of perfectly prepared photos. Yeah, like I said, I would say it's better than it was, for sure. I I might call that a win. I think that's all right. Last picture is sort of similar here. This was obviously taken from a photograph as well. It was scanned very, very high. I tried to do some work with this already. It was scanned extremely high. So we have a lot to work with here. I found that we could spend a lot of time on this photo. In fact, I did when I was sort of rehearsing for this. The best we're going to get out of here. So this is useful. This is bigger than it needs to be. What sort of advantage would we get from bringing it down? Right? So let's default. We'll bring it down. And you'll notice that when you're shrinking, you cannot use noise reduction. I thought that was kind of interesting. Nor can you use GPU acceleration. So I'm not sure there's any AI stuff going on here at all. I think this is more like built-in. Maybe it is. Who knows? All right. So now we've lowered the resolution. I would then run denoise over it based on the fact that denoise on a lower resolution seems to be a little better. So in this case, again, provided that the tiki torches there aren't the main focus and you're looking at the ladies sitting together. Well, see, look at that. That didn't do a bad job. We reduced it. We got rid of a lot of the fuzz. Their faces lost just a tiny bit of detail, but it's not the end of the world, right? And this is another one. Look at that. Look at the light flare there. Knock that right off. The foliage looks a ton better. Looks softer, I guess. And so from here, maybe you'd bring it back up, or we'd crop them out, right? So again, for me, I'm interested in the people, not necessarily the surroundings, right? So I might crop it, and we can see there's a lot more softness going on. But then I'll upscale it to something reasonable. That's probably all right. I don't know if more denoising. I'll put a little bit on, just to see what we get, just to bring it back up into something that's a little more print happy. It's all right. Again, we lost detail on their faces, so once again, you could probably composite them out, and then denoise the background and put them back in. I've shown tricks like that also, using just Paint Shop Pro, using blurs and sharpens to sort of make it look better. But let's do the last picture. So one of the things that you probably noticed with the AI upscaler was something about illustration versus photorealistic. Don't worry, I tried illustration on the pictures and it doesn't help. But what will it do here, I wonder? So here is, if you recognize it, a frame grab from the cartoon Rikki Tikki Tavi, and it's very obviously very low. It's low resolution. It is 400 by 300. Right? Probably pulled off a DVD rip. It's probably seen better days. So what can AI do for us? Well, let's start with the denoising. Let's see what that looks like first. That seems to be the step we've been to. Ooh, oh, gross. Poor Nog there. He's look at that. We lost his ear. Look at that. We lost his ear fuzz. That's just a complete mess. Well, that's not going to work out at all. Gross. All right, let's upscale it then. Let's see. Let's go up 400, and let's do the noise reduction. But we're going to use illustration this time. Let's see what we get here. We're going to make it bigger. Hey, say that looks pretty good. If you were going to remaster Rikki Tikki Tavi and put it on Blu-ray, wow, that I mean, we didn't lose it. Wow. I'm just going to sit here and say, wow. That's crazy. That is crazy town. So let's go back in here. We did a bunch of noise reduction. Let's default. What did I make this 400 last time? GPU. And let's leave the noise reduction out completely and see what we get, just for fun. Yeah, not nearly as fun, right? Maybe a little more true to the original image. It looks a lot less like it changed it into a vector, you know. But still, I was kind of digging the way it looked before, right? So let's try like 3/4 illustration, 3/4. It's gonna crap out of me, isn't it? Yes, damn it. Wish you wouldn't do that. All right, default. It was 400 illustration. You definitely might want to wait for that first service pack to hit for this thing. You know why it does that? Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to argue. That looks pretty good. So this is with Illustrator. Let me go ahead and snake a screen capture of this just for fun, because I want to see what happens if we use Photorealistic instead. All right, so now we've got a copy of that. Let's undo it. Upscale, default, 400, Photorealistic. We have 3/4, right? And we'll do that. And then we'll compare it against the... Oh, wow. I mean, it looks better. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. There seems to be... There's a little more texture kind of left in here. Where over here it looks very vectorish. We still have his ear fuzz here, but he seems... I don't know. I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're looking for, but there's definitely a difference between using illustration versus photorealistic, and that's really the point of that test, was to see how that looked. All right, I did promise that we would look at that other thing. Let me grab this. So this is the instant effects. These are the AI-powered ones down here. You have things like aged texture, right? And if you click it once, it'll try to give you a preview. Double-click it, and it will apply. And... yeah, I mean, I know what they're going with that, but it's just not for me. I'm not into the artsy stuff, right? I want pictures that look like the people I remember. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Those of you who want that side by side. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something in here. Vintage charm. Let's see how charming this is. All right, I get that. Maybe you're doing some scrapbooking and you want it to kind of look like a storybook. I don't know, maybe. All right, well, that's kind of it. I just wanted you guys to see what this AI stuff was about in Paint Shop Pro 2021. I hope you enjoyed it. Please go ahead, subscribe, like the video, and hit the notification bell. We'll have more videos coming for you. This is Shane R. Monroe, and I thank you so much.